Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Playing in Traffic. And we do this every Thursday night. We have all our friends and family come on and talk about cars, boats, and trucks, and everything else that you put gas in. What's up, Ray?
As I slide into the room, being late as usual because it's Thursday night again, Lewis.
Man, it comes quick.
Yes, sirree, Bob. But we made it. So
Yes, sir. God gave us another day to
skidding,
play.
sliding, in a trail of dust and oil. But yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I see you picked a very, very uh, caustic topic and timely topic for tonight's show.
Yeah. The reason I did that, a guy called me about a vehicle to do interior.
Okay.
It's a 60 Buick LeSabre.
Oh, nice car.
And he went to a couple places, and they told him that he should look for a kit, interior kit, and then anything he can't find, they'll make the rest. And they also said that the supply chain is still backed up from COVID.
Yep.
So I was like, well, I wonder if any other parts and stuff are like that, still on wait. Because this guy said that they had cars in there waiting for a year and a half, still waiting on parts.
And that's an interior shop, I guess.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I guess if places aren't cutting the vinyl and making the kits, yeah, you can't install them. Same thing with the tops. I ordered a set of ignition coils over a week ago. They're supposed to come the next day with Amazon Prime. The spark plugs came the next day. I'm still waiting for the freaking coils. They're not coming, so I had to reorder them tonight. So yeah, supply chain is
still finicky.
I'm still having trouble with it. Absolutely.
Well, I ordered some plumbing stuff for the bus, and from Amazon, and it said running late.
That's what they said to me too. We're running late.
Yeah, they did that for about 4 days.
Right. And now today when I checked, not only was it running late, they said, we don't know where it is. We can't find it. So if you'd like to cancel and get a refund, that'd be fine. I'm like, yeah, sure. Will you ask for a review?
Yeah. So like once every 2 or 3 months, I'll go back in and do reviews on all the stuff I bought. And it's kind of sick on how much stuff I bought from Amazon.
I know. I get the same thing. They want me to do, and I give reviews. I have no problem doing it. In fact, I do it on Google. I have like like a gold class. I'm a gold class reviewer because I do restaurants, places I go, and I don't mind doing that. I kind of like it, but yeah, when with the Amazon stuff, like you said, I have stuff that I just haven't reviewed. I keep forgetting. Like there'll be like 5 or 6 things in an order. Maybe I'll review 2 of them. I'll do the others later.
Yeah.
And then later it's like I got 5 or 6 new things now.
Yeah, I'll go through and do maybe 25 things at once, and then I'll wait another 3 months, and then I'll go back in and just roll through them.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. My neighbor, she just shakes her head because the Amazon trucks here sometimes twice a day.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. I see Paul in his car. Maybe we should get him on. I think he's on a road trip.
Let's see if his mic is better.
Yeah, we'll get him on. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, am I on?
Yes, sir.
How's everybody tonight?
Hey, we're living.
Let me see if we can't get you a little bit more light to see me. I'll get out of the car.
No, you're good. Where you at?
Oh, I'm good? Okay, then I'll jump back in the car because I can sit down. Okay, guys, we are on the 2023 excuse me, I've been drinking a little. The Rat Rod Magazine Road Tour. Is that right? Yeah, that sounds right. It's good enough.
Yeah.
We're on the Rat Rod Magazine Tour. I met with everybody in Lincoln, Nebraska yesterday. We are in Ottumwa, Iowa today.
Okay.
It was about 650 miles from Texas up to Lincoln, Nebraska. I did the Museum of Speed at Lincoln, Nebraska, and then we went over to some racetrack. Big party at the racetrack last night. Big party in the hotel parking lot last night. We came to Automotive, Iowa, but I want you all to see. This is the greetings from Automotive, Iowa. Thursday night.
Boy, it looks like it's jumping.
We look like there must be 250 cars in the parking lot.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I'm glad.
Only half are on the tour. The other half are the locals who showed up to support us.
Oh, nice.
I've never seen a parking lot gathering in the middle of the week the way this place is. It's incredible.
That's nice. Hey, I'm glad your vehicle's running good and everything. We keep you in our prayers on your road.
Thank you very much. I need all the prayers and help I can get. The car's been doing fantastic. We've been getting 18 to 20 miles to the gallon.
Nice.
I've burned a half a quart of oil. Other than that, it's been great.
Good. Now, where are you going from there?
Okay, I am going to break away from the Rat Rod Tour come tomorrow morning, and I'm heading down to Pacific, Missouri for the Jimmy Smooth Rat Rod Show.
Okay. Well, you're making the rounds.
I am really making the rounds. I did. Timing in life is everything. Everybody knows that. It's always about the timing. And we timed this in such a fashion. I had personal business that I had to take care of at the Speedway Museum that had to be done before the end of the year. I was open. I didn't have to do it this weekend. But we worked it out so that I would meet the Rat Rod Tour in Lincoln. I could deal with my personal business that I had to deal with, join the Rat Rod Tour, cruise with the most badass guys in the United States who built all these badass cars.
Yeah.
Cruise with these guys for a couple days, and then break off and go down to the other Rat Rod show. Okay. So, Lewis Lee, you've had hundreds and hundreds of guests on your show over the year.
Yep.
I've been following Chris Walker. Chris Walker's on the tour with us.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I got some really good pictures. If you go to my Facebook page earlier today, I'm following right behind Chris for a good 20 miles.
Okay.
It was awesome because a lot of people know, a lot of people don't know. That gentleman was a major influence on where I am today. If it wasn't for what that man did 10, 12 years ago, whatever it was, in those early build-offs, and I saw that YouTube, it made me get off my ass and go do something.
You know, the internet has done that for a lot of people. It opens people's minds.
I'm very thankful to the whole automotive community. I'm not going to classify it or try to, downgrade it just to the rat rods. It's the whole automotive community.
Yeah. Yep.
You can't just classify it. That's the guy I got the name no class. So I thank everybody from one end of the spectrum to the other in the automotive community. It's been a fantastic voyage and multiple years still to come.
Yep, I agree.
I think this has been the most epic event. Something tops it. And the Rat Rod Tour has topped everything in my life so far. Nice.
Well, send us some pictures.
There's been lots of pictures. I've been trying to do a photo dump every so often. Yes, please keep track. Look around. It's incredible. In the future years, anybody watching, please join us. What's fantastic about the Rat Rod Tour, man, you can show up in a 2020 BMW and join us.
Yeah.
Go for it. There's no rules. There's no exceptions. There's nothing applies. Come and enjoy life. Have fun with us.
Yeah, we'll keep that in mind. Keep us abreast of what the dates and everything too.
I always do, and I will continue to. I hope you like the pictures of some of the school buses I've sent.
Yeah, I've seen those. I'll tell you what, I haven't seen any. I've seen maybe 2 buses out on the wild, I call it. And so yeah, I appreciate you sending them.
Yeah, there's some pretty unique stuff. I understand in Illinois at the silo at the Rat Rock show, there at Psycho Silo or whatever it's called. There's going to be a couple more. I understand Jason Blisner. You all looked up Jason Blisner last week or 2 weeks ago. He is going to be there. I don't know if Marcus is going to come. I haven't had any interactivity with him recently, but it is so badass to see all those school buses that have been converted to the modern stuff. Hey, Sherry, my wife. My wife won $50.
Don't ask her if I can borrow $1.50.
Ticket or my ticket?
Of course, it was mine.
She says it was her ticket that won. But listen, guys, I hate to cut it short with you all tonight, but it's probably best that I do before I say something on air that shouldn't be said.
All right, sounds good. Hey, you guys stay safe.
I will stay safe. You all enjoy the show this evening. Look for the pictures that I post, and I'll send some to you as privately through the messenger that we use.
Okay.
And please, America, if you get a chance, just Google it and see what videos there are on YouTube and what from today that I have no clue about. There are so many people doing videos.
Yeah.
So much media coverage. I have never seen anything like this in my life. It is so incredible.
Nice. I'm happy for you.
Every time I think I've seen it all the way to the top, something tops it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the future and what might top it.
There you go. All right, man.
All right, guys.
You have a good
You'll
time.
have fun. And I'll see you next week.
All right. Later.
Later.
Boy, I got to tell you, what a difference a week makes in a guy's demeanor, huh?
Yeah, he's out
Paul
on
was
the
like
road.
Down in the dumps under the tire treads last week.
Yeah, he was.
Even Brian couldn't cheer him up.
He sure was. He was
Brian
down.
can't cheer you up. You know you're in the dumps.
He was catching the blues, wasn't he?
Yeah, and now he's like on cloud 9.
As long as his tire stays on.
Yeah, hey, good for him. I hope he can ride it.
Well, you know, car events do that. You know what I mean? Because you're around the stuff you love and good people. So I can see how I flipped the switch.
Yeah.
What's up, Papa Squirrel? We was worrying about you for a minute.
How?
We ain't seen you. You okay?
Oh yeah.
All right.
We
He was
We
busy
just had
out
a
making
busy-
money.
not today. We're going to be staying home for the next 3 or 4 months.
Sorry.
Yeah, we've already made our money for this year.
Man, big dogs.
Yeah. Now I got to try to work on a few things around the house if I can work on them.
Yeah.
He got the money squirreled away and ready for the COVID attack next, right?
Yes, that's what's bothering me. I've heard there's another COVID out there that's trying to screw us over.
Yeah.
Yep, they've already closed the schools in San Diego, and there's a handful of counties down south that are closed, and they talk about it up here about all the school systems now have had a spike. I tell you, they're not going to be happy until they kill everything for sure.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. You know,
But going back to the main objective, I don't want to get sidetracked. And you can give me 50 lashes for getting that sidetracked. I'm sorry. I told myself not to go there, but I have even at the Ford dealership, but my Honda dealership has. I can't even count the cars that are sitting on the lot waiting for interior trim pieces.
Really?
And parts from airbags, headliners, sun visors, where the sunroof had leaked and stained the
Headliner.
The headliner.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much, and the Toyota's dealership's the same way. It seems to be it seems to be pretty common.
Wow.
It's like one of those components that, we have enough in stock, and then once the stock gets down, there's nobody making it because they've shifted to other things or tried to process. I'm holding my breath because the 15th is supposed to be one of our big drop dates for back orders. And I'm like, you know, I'll be relieved if it comes, but I'm really hoping it doesn't because I don't have the extra $28,000 sitting in my bank account to pay for it.
Wow.
So it's unbelievable. A lot of places I go, and even when I was ordering those parts for the Audi, it was funny because I know when I talked to Ray about the which AN lines to get and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of them, the one they had in stock, and some was estimate ship date from the manufacturer or direct shipment. And of course, I know what those words mean. That means they don't have them. They don't know when they're coming because I see that from on my end.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why I went with the house brand, from Jegs. I went with the house brand. And so far, they had everything that they had. I didn't have any problems or waiting, but there was a lot of them when you went through. It would say estimate ship date is 9/15 or 9/20 something, later in the month.
Right.
And or direct. This direct, I just got done talking to another shop owner before coming home tonight, and a lot of this is just the game. I think they say they have it, and they want you to make a payment on it, or put money down on it to hold your spot.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's we got the wrong one, or it's coming next week, or it's lost, we can't find it. And then by the time you get pissed off and want to refund your money, all of a sudden it shows up.
Yeah.
So
they're using your money to buy other stuff.
Yeah, well, I think it's a money Ponzi scheme. It's very similar. I know it's like prescriptions. People never paid for it because it was covered under insurance, but now they got to pay $5, and then they get reimbursed like 30 days later. Yeah. Of course, we only have 30-day supplies, so by the time they get into that cycle, you're like, did I ever get my $5 from the last time, or when is this $5 coming from?
Yep.
And you figure, well, what's $5? But if you have
adds
1,000 people are getting, that's going through this scheme, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, they figure out how to get it.
Yep. So, but I'm dumbfounded on, like, you just take, and of course then you take the other page of that is you take something that's so simple and you think they got to have it in stock and they don't, but then you can take the oddest thing in the world and they have it. And I guess maybe it's because it's not as popular, but I noticed as I've been looking through parts for the Mustang and so forth, it's really funny in the small print when you go on the order page, it'll tell you, either if it's direct ship or expected delivery later, later on.
Right. Well, I was kind of set back a little bit when the guy called me today. He said, "Oh, they can't find the kit anywhere, or it's back ordered. Everything's back ordered." So I was like, "Well, that might be a good topic."
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was surprised now. Like Molly's car needed a set of coils, and I got a coil kit, and they actually showed up 2 days earlier than what they said they were going to show up. So I was sweating bullets because she was coming back from England, and she was coming back, and she was like, "Is my car going to be ready?" And I'm like, I hope so.
Right?
Yeah. So I was like going to figure out how I was going to take the what's that ignition system, right, in a distributor? What would the aftermarket.
We're talking about Pertronics.
Yeah, I was figuring out how I was going to take the Pertronics out of the old Mustang distributor and make it work on the Jetta. I mean, on the on her Jetta there.
Yeah.
Stringing up coil wires to it.
Well, I tell you, and what the parts chain did to me with, because the Mazda is down, and that's the knockaround car. So I've been driving my Impala. So
really?
It actually threw a curveball in the play, which is good because I should drive it more and I don't, and so I'm still gonna flame them when it comes down for a review, but they actually helped me out a little bit.
Wow.
I picked up. We had to drop my wife's car off the train station today for my daughter. When she comes in from the city, she'll drive that car home, and I had the Impala. So my wife gets in and she's like, "Ooh, this car has cold AC. Wow, I forget how comfortable this car is." I'm like, "Yeah, and how big it is."
Yeah.
You better watch. She'll own it.
She'd never drive it. She wouldn't even move it out of the driveway. It's too big for her. Yeah.
I'll tell you, that's one of my favorite cars. One day when I grow up, I'm gonna get one.
Yeah, they're around. They are around.
I gotta wait for them to come back down, man. The prices
They ain't coming back down, man.
Nope, not gonna.
They ain't coming back down. It's disgusting. Those are like 5.0 Mustangs. They were everywhere. Those cars. I mean, you couldn't even throw a rock without hitting 3 of them. You know what I'm saying? And
I just watched the video before I came down. There's a place called Maple Motors in Tennessee. And he does a lot of hot rods, muscle cars, and obviously they're all used, and people have had them. Most of them are not far from stock. But he just did a '95 Impala, and I'm even kind of wondering if it's a real Impala. If not, I think it had some crash damage because it's got the taillights are the same, but it's got Caprice lights in it because it has chrome trim, not black trim. It's got a Caprice grill in it, not an Impala grill. It's got all the right Impala badging. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the VIN would tell. Well, the spin coat in the trunk, that's really the killer. That'll tell you everything. But he's asking $15,000 for the car. And he said right off, that has a digital dash, and he was saying how the odometer isn't working and the temperature gauge isn't working. Check engine lights on. So the odometer, he says, well, it incremented now. He goes, now it hasn't incremented. It's a flaky odometer. I left him a comment and said, you got to pull a cluster and just touch the solder joints up on the back of that. I did mine when it was a year old.
Yeah.
It was bad right away. I think it was bad out of the factory. And
a lot of that stuff had what do they call it, a cold weld or a
cold solder. Yeah,
because I can't even tell you how many relays we did on the Porsches.
Okay.
It was the same thing, and they would heat up. Like I said, they get a little heat in them, and heat up, separate, car will cut out, and then it will cool down and start right up because it'll be like the fuel pump relay or whatever,
Right.
And I can't even tell you how many of.
And that's surprising because the Porsche, of course, uses the Bosch relays. They use the good stuff.
Yeah.
So that's surprising.
Being mass produced, and you got your.
You
still have. I don't care if they're Chinese kids, but you still have the little German kids in the factory with the glue gun. I mean, it all works the same, So. I guess I should watch. We're not. We've only been on for 26 minutes, and we're already going to be. We've got to put a muzzle on the fat guy. I'm sorry.
I came across on Facebook today. I think it's been on for a couple of days now. It's a '96 Impala. It's heavily modified. Blower on the car, the whole bit. It's got the LT1, 383 LT1 in it though. Everything up, big wheels, big brakes, a whole bit. Asking price, $169,000.
Well, the guy's trying to get back the money he put in it.
Yeah, right.
And won't.
When you guys talk about Impalas, I think about the 60s Impalas, not new Impalas. I don't want a new one. I don't like the new ones.
I think if you rode in one, you change your tune a little bit.
Talking mid-90s, 94.
96, 90. What is it? 94 to 96.
94 to 96. Yes.
Yeah.
The last of the rear wheel drive.
I
I think if you rode in one, you'd be
Impressed.
somewhat impressed, more so than you would have thought you would have been.
I can't remember the fact. I mean, all the thing, but I had a buddy. This is years and years ago. That he would. I think he bought the police car version of that.
That's a 9C1. That's a 9C1 Caprice.
Yeah, he would buy that because that had a lot of. I mean, it was easy to convert it into a SS.
Any Caprice is easy to convert into an SS, really, as long as it got a V8 in it.
Yeah, well, I know that, but you're talking about the, it had the Capri grill, and I mean, this is already like it had some of those, and like I guess the big thing was the dash.
Dash is the same,
yeah,
except for an emblem.
I know that was one of the things he would scoop up on was those on those and clean them up and convert them over and change them.
The rest of the interior is different. The seats, the bucket seats and the rear seat, that's Impala specific. So you'd have to find those. And if it's a 96, you need the console and the shifter, and then the different car. But you can convert a Caprice to an Impala really easy. Yeah. But like I said, the spin code, if there's a spin code under that deck lid, that breaks down the whole VIN. That tells you everything. And there's no lying. But then again, if you convert it and present it as such, because the wheels are the wheels. The Caprices, some of them may have had, if it wasn't an LT1, would have had single exhaust. But if it's got a P in the 8th digit of the VIN, it'd be a P. That lets you know it's an LT1, so it'll have dual exhaust. Some of the Caprices had drum brakes in the rear, not 4-wheel disc. There's little things that you can look for that you could. But
I just know that's what he went for. He went for those ex-police cars, because they were, I guess they were the easiest to convert over. But like all that stuff, you always find on the back in the day when you opened the Sunday paper up, there was always 350 67 RS SS Camaros.
Right.
There was always more than they ever produced in your neighborhood.
Same thing. Tri-powered GTOs. There's more for sale than were made.
What were made. So that was
things are getting real tricky.
Oh, big time.
But I'm starting to see a lot of oddball cars starting to become real popular. Because they use, everybody bought up all the hot stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
that's been going on for a while. Like, with all the SS Novas and Camaros and Chevelles are gone, guys will go to a Malibu or a base level Camaro. And then you can always up convert any of those cars depending how far you want it to go.
Yeah, I mean, I was like you said, you went from the 2 doors to the 4 doors to the station wagons.
Right, exactly.
That's
and now
how
the station wagons are hot. They're hot, so they passed everything.
And there were a few people, they must have hit their head when they were young. They thought the station wagon was hot before they were hot. And, of course, I went to school with a guy that had a LTD wagon, station wagon. He was called the Wagon Master. Had a 4-speed in it and 428 in it. You know what I'm saying? So we all thought that he had a few screws loose. But
a couple of weeks ago at this new cruise night I'm going to, a guy wheels in with a Ford LTD wagon with the wood grain sides, and the tip off was kind of like an ivory white color, but the tip off that made me go look at it was. It had steel wheels with like poverty caps, but you could see they were widened.
Yeah.
So I went over and I looked, and it was a 428. This car wasn't automatic though, and he didn't open the hood. I wish he would have opened the hood. I wanted to see. It sounded nice. Sounded real nice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was driving wagons back in high school, so I've been driving them since the 70s. I've always liked them.
Yeah.
Just like them because of the utility, really. But when I liked them, certain ones looked really good.
You mean you didn't like them because you had a nice place to stretch out?
No, I never really stretched out in them too much.
The drive-in movies.
Yeah. Betcha.
Yeah. I just always liked them. I always liked having them, and I still do.
Yeah.
Well, my wife feels if you can't put a piece of plywood in a car, station wagon or a truck, you might as well just park it.
Well, Jim will back me up on this one. When I had my Caprice wagon, that was a 95. I bought a new, I have an 8-foot door in the back of my house, a sliding door. So half of it is 4x8. And I bought a new screen, and it was in a box. And I took it out to the wagon. I thought I was going to have to put it on the roof. I said, just for have let me see. And I opened the gate, and I put it in, and it fell right to the floor, right between the wheel wells. I was like, holy shit.
When you got it.
I had a 2-seater couch that I had to get rid of. I had to take the legs off the bottom. I shoved it right in the back of that wagon and closed the gate.
Yep.
It ate anything I put in it. It was unbelievable.
Love my wagon. Love my wagon.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, they're getting hard to find, or they're expensive.
But other than that, I liked it.
Yeah, they're getting expensive. I seen a lady in a new Mercedes wagon, and I haven't seen one in a while. A newer one, but this was a brand new. It was nice. Yep.
Well, that's the other end of the spectrum, price wise.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I seen a Rolls Royce yesterday. There's a couple Bentleys and Rolls Royces running around here. I don't know where they're getting the money at, but they're running them.
Yeah.
I mean the new ones,
Oh,
the Phantom and the Ghost.
Right.
Yeah.
Better watch out. There might be some hellacious drug deals going on in your
Something's going on, man, because I'm telling you, they're riding big boy stuff.
Yeah, we're going to look for actually what we're doing now is we're going to buy another vehicle, a small transit van for doing little local shows and down in the Bay Area, because I wrecked our PT Cruiser.
Uh-oh.
I was driving along a road and dropped off the side of the road, and I couldn't get it back on the road, and all of a sudden I hit something and I ran right into a tree.
Oh.
At about 40 miles an hour. Yes, it was ow.
Yeah, that'll snatch you real quick.
Oh, it did. It made me mad too, because that little car was starting to run good.
That's when it happens.
Yeah.
I had a
never get anything fixed the way you want it.
Yeah.
Because if you do, Loki will come along and kick you in the butt.
I had a Escort station wagon, and I used it for repoing. When I would go repo semis, I would throw all my tools in the air tank in the back of the wagon and go take off. A small car. I can get in the truck stops real quick, fast, air up the tanks. Still a truck. And I love that car, man. And I'm riding one day, me and my kids, and a dude comes out of the gas station and totals it.
Oh, geez.
I was like, oh my God.
Yep.
Yep.
They haven't done that to me yet, but I got a feeling when we get this, we're looking at a Ford Transit van fairly new, because we can put everything we need to go do some of the local shows, the local steampunk shows. And I can get in and out of it easy, because right now I am so stove up, I can't hardly get in anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's the arthritis acting up again. And I think I'm going to have to go back on steroids for a while, but I hate steroids because they make me gain that much weight. And you can't get rid of the weight. Once you got it, it don't like to leave.
Go over to your neighbors and get some of their weed.
Yeah.
No. I don't trust these people around here.
Just be careful with the Transit, though, because a lot of places don't like working on them, and parts are a little difficult for them. That's the only problem with them. The guys at the Ford dealership, man, they don't talk very highly of them. So
really,
well, there's only 1 year that the internet claims is any good, and that's the one the old lady's looking at, which is a 90 something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, because they have a small one and a bigger one. Like I think it's like one of them is on a. There might be three of them because I know they have like F-350 version of it, and then a pickup truck, and they might have one smaller than that.
They do.
But those things are Euro base platformed, and parts are really, really difficult. And it's just a simple job like doing rear brake pads. You got to pull the axles out and all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
I mean, it's not.
That's why I want to talk to my mechanic.
Yeah, there's
and
a lot of
ask
people
him
don't
what he
like.
thinks.
A lot of people don't like working on them, and there's a lot of special tools for them because the European.
And what about the sprinters?
Sprinters? Well, sprinters are the same way, kind of the same way. Those are a lot of the sprinters, even the Dodge ones, but are Mercedes based, and you got to watch the motors in them because if it has a Mercedes motors in it or Mercedes Benz motor, it's just a nightmare.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why a friend of ours sold her van because it had the Mercedes motor in it, and it had a check engine light come on, and she couldn't get rid of that check engine light. And finally, they found out it was for something that the van didn't even have.
Wow.
And California says, we don't care. That check engine light, either you turn it off or
you fix it or get rid of it. Yeah.
She got rid of it out of state.
Yeah. Those things are kind of tricky. Like I said, parts wise and maintenance wise, you got to be careful.
Hey, Papa Squirrel, I got a question for you. On your truck, does your AB? Wait, what is it? The ABS light. I got an ABS light comes on the bus every once in a while. I don't know what to make of it. I don't think it has ABS, does it?
Yeah, it does.
It does.
Could be anything from a dirty sensor to a module, your module,
or a screwed up wiring harness.
Screwed wire, right?
Yeah, you just go grab your meter and you can put it on ohms with it off, unplug it, and have the wheel spin, and you can see if it's counting. And that way, you know if it's got a bad sensor or that plug there, and you can just dissect it all the way back and check the harness.
Wait. That sensor puts out a frequency. You got to use a frequency meter, not an ohm meter.
It will the magnet going across it. It will open close.
I've never used an ohm meter. I've always used a freak meter. Okay.
But it'll show it.
So I know it puts out a waveform, puts out a sine wave.
Yeah. I've never had that show up on my truck, but I do know that it's automatic ABS thing because I took the dash off doing some screwing around with some stuff, and I had all these relays behind that dash, and an ABS relay was there.
Oh yeah.
So
okay.
I've been lucky. I haven't had any problems so far.
Now, it could be because I never drive it. Like, I drive it across the street and back here. So maybe if I get it on the road and run it.
No, I mean, usually, like, they'll have, like an air gap, like a sensor. If that has too much of an air gap or if it's actually destroyed, rough. A lot of times it's corrosion buildup and it can't count. It can't count the...
you get grease or dust or rust.
The break from, like I said, the rust on all the components. But like I said, you get a lot of brake dust and all that stuff. Now you just gotta. Some of them are when they get stuck in there, you don't even know. Somebody could have tried to pull one out, and then actually it'll look intact, but it's broken inside when they try to pop it out, and it's stuck in.
Okay.
It's kind of
that's why reading it first is a good idea.
Yeah. See if it actually is reading. And like I said, and and if you have a bad harness someplace, I had one on the tool truck, and the only thing I could think of is something came up off the road and hit the harness and broke a wire inside, but I was able just to get my own meter out and
figure it out,
disconnect it and dissect it down to where it was, and then go from there. But
okay. I'll check that out.
And they also the ABS pumps like to stick. They get, especially if we haven't done a good brake flush and water into the solenoids and the springs, they like to. I see guys open those things up and try to bring them back to life, but I don't know. I'm not that kind of. I don't get that lucky.
Yeah.
Well, see, I was surprised because I've got air brakes on this truck.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never heard of an ABS system on air brakes, but they've got them.
That's what I was thinking too.
And one thing about air brakes is that they are not as prone to damage things like brake fluid is. You don't have to change things out. That's the nice thing about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only thing, like I said, with air brakes, it depends on where you're at. Like in my area, you get a little water in the lines, and you have all kinds of problems. That's why you got to mix rubbing alcohol. You pump some of that in a line, and that way it won't freeze, because they'll lock up on you in a heartbeat when they freeze up, and you ain't going nowhere after that.
No, I guarantee you won't. I had mine lock up or they actually froze on me. I went up to visit my son when we were still talking up in New Mexico, and I spent the night at a KOA and got up the next morning to get ready to leave, fired the truck up, wouldn't release the brakes, wouldn't do anything. And I'm like, what in the hell? And figured it out. We had frozen lines because we didn't put a antifreeze mixture in this thing that they have on the truck. I can't remember what the hell it is. We found it out.
They have like a dryer. They have like
Yes.
a dryer, and they have like a holding cell, a tank or whatever. But they sell stuff. But it's very, like I said, the cheap fix in this area, or the cheap fix that you have, is like rubbing alcohol, and you pour that in the tank, and that way it won't freeze the line. Any water in there won't freeze with the rubbing alcohol.
Well, that was pretty funny because I got a heater, hand, heater, blow dryer. Well, it was like a blow dryer, but it's one. And I sat there and sprayed pipes with it at front of the truck under the hood, and I finally got it thawed out, and I got to where it worked, and so I started putting air dry down it periodically. And I got my air exchanger, whatever you want to call it, dryer, replaced because I found out that thing was in bad shape.
Yeah.
Somebody had to replace it.
I don't have one here, but they sell I think it's 1 5/8, but it's a really long socket to go down in there to release the air pumps. I mean, the brakes on the back, the bags, or the drum, not the drums, but to release the pressure off, so you unlock, so you can at least move the vehicle. You have no brakes, though. I mean, you gotta.
Well, so far, I haven't had a lot of problem with any of that. I just had it freeze up one time in New Mexico. That's what I like about living here on the coast. It don't freeze here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But and drain your damn air
separator.
tanks.
Yeah, you gotta drain that separator.
Yeah. Well, my semis, I had automatic things on them, but this don't.
Automatic drainer. Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna put them on this though, just in case.
Yeah.
I like gadgets.
Yeah, I do too, but I haven't, didn't even know they had those. Because everybody I saw had the,
little cable.
Well, like I said, it really depends on where you're at. And of course, I know you're said New Mexico, but you gotta understand, at night it gets cold. The temperature really drops.
oh yeah,
That's like I said. So you would think, but if you were you got to also watch for humidity. I mean, like I said, there's other ways moisture can get into that system. You have to be careful.
They also sell those automatic drains for your air compressor at home.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And I had one, and it worked great, except it went bad. And I got a new one, and then I wanted to raise the compressor a little more, so I had more access to it, and I never did. So it's sitting in the box on top of the compressor.
So when you finally move, then you'll put it on.
Yeah, I'll just give it to the next guy.
Oh, you're not going to take the compressor with you?
I was already thinking about that. If my buddy, who I know from the shop, if he really buys my house like he says, I'll just give him the damn compressor. Like I said, it's an 80-gallon 2-stage compressor. I've been in shops that use one that size. It's huge.
Yeah, it's a big compressor.
And I'll leave him the 20-foot of butcher block workbench where I got to unbolt that and take it to. I got a metal tranny table down the base. I'll leave that. It's easy just to leave it and buy what you need again instead of moving.
Yeah, but the only problem with some of that stuff, buy the newer stuff isn't as good as the old stuff.
I know. Well, then again, the good thing is as I get older, I shouldn't need as much stuff.
Famous last words.
I know.
That's like I had one of those strut compressors that mounted on the wall, and I had that at the shop, the dealership that I worked at. And of course, when I left and I brought it home, I kept thinking, where am I going to mount this thing? So I dragged it all over the garage and set it in the corner. And no matter where I set this thing, either I stubbed my toe on it or I had to move it to get to something else. And I dragged that thing around, and so I started with Mako there, and I'm out, and it was a couple months in, and this guy, one of the shop owners, goes, "Hey, I'm looking for a strut machine," and of course, I give him a price. He goes, "Man, a lot of people think that there must be a used toolbox factory or a used tool." Or a used tool, because they're like, "Oh, if you find one used, I want to buy it," And I'm like, "Well, they don't make a used one, I don't understand." So I started thinking, I was like, you know what? I'll just sell it, So I went back next week. I said, "Hey, I got this guy that traded one in." I didn't tell him it was mine. I just said I had one guy, a guy traded one in, and it's X amount. Do you want it? And he said, "Yeah." So, of course, I had loaded up in the truck and walked in. He writes me a check. I'm all happy. I sold it. But then 2 weeks later, I had to put struts on my car.
Yep.
And, then I'm out there, like, two pigs and a donkey rolling around on the ground with a spring compressor trying to collapse some struts, and I'm like, God, this sucks,
Well, I thought you were gonna. I've done this too. You got the thing. You don't mount it because it's never a good place to have it. And then when you do use it, you use it laying on the ground because you never mounted it. But I was lucky. There's an auto parts store right by me, and for years, all the struts I did, I would take the strut out of the car and bring it to them. I'd buy the cartridges from them, and the guy would swap them for me for $20.
Oh wow! Yeah.
I said, you know what? That's a deal. Yeah. I can't. And now you can buy the quick strut, which is obviously, the strut, the spring, the upper bearing, everything.
They've eliminated, changing, but, and, then of course, just like, over the time and the years here, I have access to a handful of shops when I need to do something, if I need, just like when I had Molly's car and, go over, do oil change and check everything out. And put the coil. I could just do it in the shop, and I have access to a lot of stuff, which is great. But again, I was so mad that I had sold that thing because then I was like, made it 3 times harder on myself. And like you said, Ray, if I had to, like I said, if I had it here, I would have just found someplace on the wall and mounted it.
Yeah.
At that moment, just so that I could use, and it would either become a coat rack or I'd eventually take it back down and be like a exercise piece of machine,
Well, the beauty is you can hang your winter coats on it because it's nice and heavy.
Yep.
Chainmail, mace, whatever you got.
So, but I did that. I did that one other thing. I sold something and I needed it. And I told myself after that, I won't sell anything. I won't sell any more of my tools. I did that with my toolbox and I regretted that too. My first toolbox that I had.
Really?
Well, I had come to a point, I guess it was about 4 years in, and I was thinking about going back turning wrenches, and because like I said, I just had a lot of stuff going through my head with that, and so I told myself, I cleaned my box out, put it on the truck, and I just wrote a price on it, stuck a piece of tape to saying on it, stuck a price on it. And if somebody wrote me a check for it, I'll stay doing this. And if not, I'm going to go back and turn wrenches. And it was kind of funny because I had a body shop guy, owner, really great guy. He came out. He goes, man, I really like that box. And he said, what's the price? And I said, it's right there. I'm selling it for a guy. I really don't have much wiggle room, but that's the price. And he was like, oh, I really like it, but I don't know. And I said, okay. And he had made a payment and gave me a check for, his bill. I mean, his account. And I said, I'll be in with the receipt. And he said, okay. And he went back into the shop and, I finished up, went in there to give him the receipt. And he goes, oh, here, and hands me a check for the amount of the box.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was that.
That was that. And unloaded it, rolled it into the shop, and
you cry a little bit.
Well, like I said, I really liked that box.
What was so special about that box that you haven't gotten now in the after that? What?
Oh no! I mean, trust me, I love my Mako boxes. Don't get me wrong, I love, but I just wish I had never sold that box. It was I don't even know what it was. It was an older KLR, a KRL or whatever Snap-on box.
Makes that?
Snap-on.
Oh, okay.
It was a 3-bay, but it was funny because it was old because it didn't have the, how like they have that 6-inch drawer, the deep socket drawer. I didn't have that. Mine were all 2-inch or 3-inch drawers. It was an older box.
Was that a like the new style, the roll around style?
Yeah, roll around 3-bay. It was like 80.
Newer than mine.
It was like a 80. Let's see here, 78. I guess was the date on that, 78, 80.
No, they made because I bought my boxes in. It was probably 80, 81.
Well, maybe it was 89.
82, yeah, and mine was still the standard, the stackable.
Yeah.
They didn't have that stuff yet.
I mean, I just really liked it. And of course it had everything, the way laid out the way I liked it. But the thing that I don't want to say bothers me. The thing that gets me is that I still go into that shop. Of course, the old man had passed and his kid runs the thing, but I go in there and the box is like beat to shit in 27 different colors. It's in a body shop, and it's just, you know, and I look at it and I'm just like, God, man, just.
That's why when you sell a car, you want it to go out of state.
Yeah. So I was, you know, every time the times that I go in there and look, and you know, like I said, it's but again, it is what it is, and it served its purpose. I mean, it changed my direction.
Yeah, well, hey.
So
fate.
Yeah, well, like I said, I just, and then of course, you know, and and it's funny because I had a 6 Series 31-inch deep, 86 inches long. I mean, I had a box here, and I mean, I had 3 of them. I got 2 of them, and I had a guy come over because he wanted to make a payment and buy a tool. And this is why I usually don't like people hanging around in my garage. And he goes, man, I really like that box. And I'm like, it's not for sale. And he goes, everything has a price. And then, you know, here I am 2 weeks later, dumping everything out, rolling it on the truck and selling it, you know? And so, and then when they came out with the white toolboxes, because mine are all blue, sapphire blue, I said, man, I really want to change everything over to the white boxes. And I said, stop, we're not going there, you know? So I love the white.
You care about color?
Huh?
You care about color?
Yeah.
All I care about, what will it hold?
Yeah.
And how sturdy is it? You know?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's everything I have. I mean, all mine are actually, I've been, since the blue and chrome is my favorite combo, in my route, about 82% of everybody that bought a toolbox from me is blue and chrome. So, that's what I carry on the truck. That's what I roll off the truck. That's what rolls into the shop. And I've had service managers, not service managers, but district reps and other guys from Matco. They all finally get a thing as like, everybody in your area has a blue and chrome box.
Yeah, they're all related.
Yeah, they're all related, and that's what I said. People ask me, what color do you like? Well, I like the blue and chrome. So
my wife wants to take all the cabinets out of the kitchen and replace them with toolboxes.
Nice.
Because she feels that they're more designed and organized better than a regular cabinet.
Yeah. People are doing that in buses too. In the conversion.
Yeah. I got a toolbox in the tool truck that I took the wheels off of it and stuck, and I used that instead of I took out their cabinets and put it in a toolbox.
Yep.
That's what the wife was afraid when we were redoing the kitchen, because I showed her the stainless steel top, and I said, this would look really good for the tops. And she said, I don't think so.
Wouldn't have been my wife. She'd have been like, where can we put it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the only mistake that I made, and I did that and I should have switched it, but I wasn't thinking at the time. That one, on the old stainless steel tops, they had engraved, the Matco logo with the Matco tools and stamped in the stainless steel, in the tops. And I I let that top go with that box, and I really wish, because I got one top that's different from all the other boxes because it's a newer style instead of with the logo in it. And I hate to say it drives me crazy when I see it because it doesn't have the logo.
Oh well.
It's funny the things that drive you crazy.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's like watching Emergency 51 and wonder why the squad truck has painted mirrors instead of chrome mirrors.
You know what I always notice about that? If you look on certain seasons, when they show the squad from the front, there's the running board, and it comes up under the front fender, and the front part of it that faces the wheel is not painted.
Yeah.
And I said, when they painted that stuff, they just paint everything red. How did that not get painted?
Yeah.
I'm sure they didn't mask it. I mean, they don't mask anything,
No.
So that was a question I always had.
But that drives me bananas.
Well, of course, now I found the latest chips anomaly I sent you with Pontius 55 Chevy.
Yeah.
But that was it. They had two cars. Is what it was. They were using two cars, so they split between. Because in some of the, if you stop the shot, in some of them you can see one of the cars had like a set of mags on the rear wheels instead of those stupid moon covers. So
yeah,
two cars. That's all.
Yeah, that car looked like it was chopped though. It's kind of funny looking.
Yeah, it looked like the roof was a little shorter. I couldn't find any information on like the build of that. Who built it? If it was one of the
or where it went.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, I don't remember that one.
That's in season 6. It's called Death's Door. It was when he used to be a canyon racer back in his early days. But of course, when they show him as a canyon racer, when they do the flashbacks, it's the same exact looking guy, but with a black cutoff T-shirt. Like they didn't make him look younger at all by a day. So you're supposed to believe that he looked the same.
Yeah, because when you look at, even when you look at this one here, it just looks like the top is shorter on the glass.
Yeah, a little less. I mean, yeah, that car does have a tilt nose too.
Yeah,
that tilt nose. At least one of them did.
I like
With a big black Chevy under the hood.
That snorkel, that scoop,
that's the old Harwood.
Yeah,
I had to send that to my buddy Dougie because we were talking. I have a white wheel that was on the Nomad, and he's got a white wheel that was on one of his cars. And I took the wheel off the Nomad. I have it hanging here in my basement. And there's something about white wheels that we're attracted to him because he sold his car and he took the wheel off it. And the guy knew that he had seen it with the white wheel. And he asked him, he says, "Hey, what happened to that steering wheel?" He goes, "I took that off, dude." He goes, "I've had that for a long time. I got to keep that." He says, "Oh, I really want that wheel. I'll pay you extra for it." And he went up to $500 extra for a white plastic, and Dougie wouldn't sell it. He goes, "Nope."
Oh, wow.
Wow. Hey, so if you guys come across a big wood steering wheel, I'd like to put one on the bus.
Yeah, you need a big. See, the wheel I have would be good for you. It's actually I think it's 16-inch. It's good for a car with non-power steering. Like Dougie's is the smaller one. His kind of fits inside of mine. That's the one I would want. But yeah, but that car had a white wheel, so somebody had some style.
Yeah,
some hot rod style.
All right, guys, time for me to bail.
All right, Jim.
All right, Jim. Have a good week.
Hey, Jim.
Take care, guys.
All right, stay safe.
See ya.
Yeah, I'd like to put a nice wheel on it.
Yeah, you got something different. Something nice would be very fitting for that bus. I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, you need something different, out of the ordinary, custom.
Yep.
You just got to see what's out there.
Yeah, I probably had to go to a swap meet. I should make a special trip just to go look for one.
I think you're gonna have to I think you're gonna have to go to the catalogs and look at what some of the manufacturers are selling.
Think?
Yeah, because that stuff isn't all that common, unless you can go to like a bus or a truck swap meet.
Yeah, truck. Yeah.
Well, something older truck wise.
Right.
I'll tell you, man, some of these semis got some nice interiors. Have you seen those nice ones on like Instagram and stuff?
I am sure. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, they got marble floors and
Yeah.
yeah, they're getting kind of crazy with it.
Yeah.
All I wonder about is how do they write it off on their taxes?
Yeah.
Creatively.
Yeah.
Guess what? There's a will, there's a way.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, new floors, and they just put that down.
Yeah.
They'll tell you what kind of floors. Yeah, they'll tell you what kind of floors.
Right.
Yeah.
New steering wheel.
I was gonna do the wood, what's the new wood floors you're putting in now?
The laminate?
Yeah, the laminate. I was gonna do that in my truck way back before they got real popular. But now everybody does it.
Yeah.
The only trouble with those laminate floors are you get them wet and they swell and cause a lot of problems, because my wife's aunt and uncle put a laminate floor in, and it was in there about 2 years and the kitchen flooded.
Oh.
And they pulled all of it out and put down linoleum again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, the new stuff is pretty good. They have like water resistant.
Yeah, that's what we put in our house. It's real easy to put together and cut and everything, and it's waterproof. It snaps together. I mean, I can spill a thing of water on there, and the puddle will just sit there, and just sweep it up, mop it up.
That's what you gotta have.
It's like PVC almost, so it's not even gonna. It doesn't swell. It doesn't absorb the water.
Yeah, they came up.
Yeah, we're doing the whole house. My knees are killing me.
Yeah.
Yeah, get one of those rollers, those knee roller things.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I had the pads, but now I'm wearing the pads out. It's like, my God, I got to.
Well, I learned a while ago. I was out in the garage the other day. I had to set my car up on the quick jacks, and I knew I was going to be kneeling down a lot, so I wear a hard shell knee pad.
Yeah.
And you could like break dance on those things. You could spin around and pivot. You can do anything.
Yeah.
But it really saves your knees, man. It really does.
Oh yeah. If you're crawling around outside and like hit just like a tiny little pebble right in your knee, it's like,
yeah,
that's not good.
All it takes.
100.
Yeah.
Hurts like the dickens.
Yep. And for some reason, when your knees get dirty, they don't clean off like other parts of your body. My knees will stay dirty for days. I don't know why it is.
Yep, that's true.
Well, don't have knees like mine.
Like this part of your arm gets dirty. You don't even know.
Yeah.
You get a shower, like, what the hell?
Right.
I can't remember what I suffer from, but my knees are always dirty looking, and and I've scrubbed them and done everything else. And I quit worrying about them. If anybody wants to check my knees out there, but I'd better be a slab on a table.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other way of looking at it. That's fine. It just frees you up. Like, who cares? Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So I got a question. So in my Buick, it has I welded in those floors. Well, part of the floor is not done. So now it's all bare metal. What kind of stuff should I put on there? I don't want to spray paint it. Is there any other something that will seal it up? Like I was looking at chassis black or something.
415.
Do pour 15?
Well, that's the other way. But then if you want to manipulate after it or weld on it, you can't. I think, like a good. I like this paint by VHT. It's an epoxy 60-degree black. It's literally you spray it and the hair on your arms just hardens, and it covers really, really nice. It doesn't take a lot of spray.
Yeah.
And Eastwood makes one too.
I had like 5 cans at one point. I was restoring my car. I had like 5 cans of all 60-degree black, and I wanted to see which one was, which one I liked the best. And there's one by Kepler, who's a paint supplier here. I like theirs, and then this VHT by far is my favorite because it really is. It's an epoxy paint, and it's got primer in it, so you don't have to prime separately.
And can I just put that on rust too, or do I have to make sure it's clean?
It's not made to paint over rust. necessarily. Some paint is. Some is.
Pour 15 is.
415 definitely is. That's what it
That's
stands
the
for.
name.
415 stands for paint over rust.
Yeah.
So I could just after I put POR 15 on it, I'm done. I don't have to put anything else, right?
You certainly can. Yeah.
It's gonna be covered with a carpet at some point.
Well, that's what I was saying though. If you're going to do anything else under there, like if you had to do any welding or anything on that, then you have to get the Pour 15 off, which is that stuff dries very, very hard too.
Yeah.
So you like
Now, Stacy David sent me the cleaner and the metal prep and the Pour 15. Let me grab it.
Yeah, you have to Pour 15. For the most part, works fairly easy, but there are some cases that you have to make sure that there is a little bit of prep, because what happens is if it does not adhere to the metal correctly, it will come off in sheets. It'll just flake right off.
Yeah. Well, that's
and it is not UV protected. So you do not want to have the sun on it because it will break it down and it will not work the way.
I think that they have a new line now that is UV. It does have a UV inhibitor in it. I know the old one.
As far as I know, I haven't seen that.
The original didn't. I know that because that's what I used way back. Yeah.
Yeah, the metal prep.
Yeah, this stuff really works good.
Yeah, it's etching stuff. Eastwood makes a. I think it's. I don't know if it's chassis black or frame black or whatever.
I think I used chassis black on something. I can't.
But it actually, you have to puncture the bottom because it's a 2-stage paint.
Huh.
And that's really good. I've used that.
They actually made a top coat too.
Yeah, that right there is very very good. Covers really good and everything. But
Give you a gallon?
He gave me 5 gallons.
Whoa!
I got a bus, man. He sent me stuff for the bus.
Oh,
yeah. Have you opened that yet?
Yeah. You know what I hate about this? The lid is like paper thin metal. So when you open it, it bends up and you can't get it to seal.
Oh, you can't get it sealed.
Yeah. You should, if it's been open, you should keep it in the refrigerator.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, I had that chassis black and I left it out, or I opened it, used it. I figured I could close it up, use it again someday.
And you should lay a piece of cellophane across the top and close it, because if not, it'll actually glue that top together and you ain't opening it back. You might as well get a can opener, and because you ain't getting it back.
Yep, that's what happened to the first can.
Yep.
So I put a plastic bag, put the lid on. There's probably like maybe a quarter of it left. Let it sit, and then I'm like, I want to use this again. And it was like almost a year probably after. I open it up, it's just solid.
Yeah.
Solid brick. Like, I guess that's too long.
Well, the problem is that the air inside the can.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to watch. And that's one of the things about keeping it in a. Actually, I keep mine in the freezer. The old lady has a cow because it's in the freezer downstairs. But I still have a paintbrush. That I use. I just did it on the Audi over the weekend. When I put the tank in and cleaned up some rust, I came down here and got the paintbrush out of the freezer and that pour and opened it up and recoated it. Coated that area. And the paintbrush has been since the last time I used it was 2-3 years. But the freezing, when you put it in the freezer, the extreme cold keeps it from activating or hardening up. And but there's a few things. I know some guys have had a lot of problem with the Pour 15 not sticking.
So how much do you think a quart would do? Would it do a whole floor in a car?
Yeah.
You think? I don't know.
It goes
a quart. Yeah. A quart should.
Because that's like $50.
It goes on pretty thin. Yeah, it goes pretty far. And you can spray it.
You can spray. Actually, if you spray it, I have not tried that. Supposedly spraying it. Yeah, spraying is supposed to be a lot better. It's just that whatever you buy a cheap spray gun because
Harbor Freight gun and just
it
throw
ain't
it away.
ever going to be the same again after the poor
You
15.
have to cut it, and you have to wear a good respirator.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll have to cut it down, and you'll get, but it's self-leveling, and it'll self-level out, and like I said, if you use a roller, that's a good way of covering a lot of area.
Yeah, I did my whole bus floor.
With that for the rust proofing.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna spray under the undercoat. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's one one of the issues of not being UV. If you leave it out, it will break it down. It won't. The sun will break down the coating.
Yeah, they have a top coat that you can put on too. That
yeah,
probably
but
is.
Well, like you said, the carpet's going to go on there. You're never going to see it.
Yeah. And then and if I have some extra, I'll do the bottom underneath. I mean, the whole car's rusted, so I'm not. The whole frame is rusted on the thing. I just want to get it so water is not coming inside from the bottom. If I ever drive it.
You know what you could use is the what's that stuff called? As seen on TV, the
flex tape.
The flex
stuff. Man, listen, that stuff don't play, man.
No, I put some on the convertible top, and I can't get that stuff off. If I put it on, it's like, oh my hand.
It won't leak at that spot.
Yeah, it won't leak. Well, the only problem is that the top's going. When I put it up and down, it's kind of ripping in spots, but flexing. But yeah, I don't think it leaks. I don't know. I haven't really taken it outside in the rain or washed it. I haven't really washed it either.
People laugh,
the
man.
The Flex Seal's.
The Flex Seal, yeah.
You can laugh about it, but I've had to use it.
Oh yeah,
that's so sticky. I can't believe it. You touch it together, or forget it. Yeah, the tape. Yeah.
Y'all
all their products.
Y'all just had a bunch of rain. You could have taken it out and tested it.
Yeah. Well, if I wash it, I'll freaking. I'll put a picture up of what the car looks like now. It's freaking mess.
How long have you had that car?
Well, the 53 I've had for like 10 years, but this convertible car is a 350Z. That's my drift car that I haven't gone drifting in.
No, I was talking about the Buick.
Yeah, the Buick, I've had that for like 10 years.
How did you come about owning that car?
I was just looking around. I like the looks of it, of the front and the grill and all that. I was like, oh, yeah, it's a 4-door. And it was cheap.
Why a lot of people wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, I know. Well, I thought I would get it because it's 4-door. I could just have the kids open the back door and they can go in the back.
Yeah,
but that hasn't had. I've had it for 10 years. They haven't been
right.
Because it keeps I keep doing stuff to it.
Well, by the time you get it on the road, they'll all be grown up and gone. You'll carry the grandkids around, right?
They'll be driving it. Yeah.
Isn't it the Buick that has the holes on the side of the hood? The round holes.
It's on the fender 53.
The fender.
They always did that. That was their signature to denote the model line.
Yeah, I love that. To me, that was.
Those are called portholes, by the way.
Portholes. And if you had 4 portholes, it's the Roadmaster, right?
Right.
If 3, it's either a special or a super, and mine's a super. Which just means
we were at the New York Auto Show sometime in the 2000s, and they came out with when Buick was. They had a new car out, and it had 3 portholes on each side. And we're talking to the girl who was the rep, and she said, they brought that back as an homage to the older days, to the 50s. And they said that car now has a V6, so they put 6 of them on. I'm like, that's pretty cool that they would do that.
Is that why they put 6 on the other one? On the old?
Well, no,
not a V6.
Was an 8. That had 4 and 4.
Right, the Roadmaster was also my 53 is a super that that's the first year of the V8, but that still has 3. So I don't know. That doesn't make sense then. I don't know what they did.
But they're cool.
Yeah, it's got it has a LS swap, 4L60 transmission and a 4.9 inch in it. Disc brakes all around. And I mean, the thing starts right up every time, but it's not a driver yet.
I will tell you, I saw probably the coolest LS swapped car Monday night. I sent Brian some pictures. I posted pictures actually. It's an AMX, like a 68 or 69 AMX. But you walk up to it, it's sitting a little higher, and under the hood, I looked up. Okay, it's got an LS in it, and on the plastic engine covers, he had it was actually out of a GTO, so he had the letters removed and he put AMX letters on there. I look over and I said, "Holy crap! This guy actually put the anti-lock brakes in this car." There you go. That's the license plate.
GTO.
And I looked inside, and it had the GTO dashboard and the console and shifter. He had the GTO seats that he took the GTO lettering off and had AMX stitched on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he rebodied a GTO. I think he put an AMX body on a GTO.
But the GTO is doesn't have a frame, so he must just cut the subframe.
The AMX doesn't either.
Oh,
okay. So I think he put the AMX body on the GTO.
Yeah, he could just cut it.
Because looking at whoever put, now you can see the ABS pump over there. Who puts an ABS?
Why would you do that? Yeah, that's true.
I think you're right, because look at the shock on that picture Brian had up. Where the shock
look at the shock tower.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and the firewall, the where the cowl is on the bezel.
It was very build. It was probably one of the nicest conversions I've seen. Just for being well done,
Yeah, it's a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where are
so
those
there's
pictures?
see the
Put 'em on.
ABS pump.
Yeah.
And actually,
Motor
I guess
real
that's
motor
the. I guess is that the control arm? The black going through? I mean,
it looks like something like that, yeah.
No, not if it has the
I don't know what would
strut,
that be?
right?
Maybe that's a magnetron. Brian, show him the baby of the sweetheart of the cruise night.
Well, I was going to show him. Hold on. Here's the car itself.
Yeah, it's sitting a little higher.
Sitting a little higher.
And
especially the back.
Yeah.
The wheels are kind of
right.
Are those the GTO wheel? Or
I would imagine that it's to fit the GTO hubs.
But this one right here. Who's the U-boat commander?
Yeah, there you go.
82 928.
28.
Yeah, but that was an automatic.
Yes.
I
looked inside. I almost puked over the guy's perfect leather seats.
Me, I feel
an
you.
automatic shift, and I was like,
Yeah, when I saw the pictures you posted, I saw that. And
but Ray, it was funny, when we were talking about that, and I was saying that interior, how that interior looked pretty good and how it held up. But once I started look at the now this is the passenger seat now, and look at the first run of stitches, you could see. Let me get this thing. See how it's it's all coming apart. These cars came apart. I mean, the interior in those cars, it's so hard, and you can see like around, like that's on the console where the leather shrinks on the plastic.
Right.
I mean, these cars just fell apart.
But that one was in pretty good shape.
But I was at first I was like, man, I cannot believe, because a lot of them will change change that interior gets changed.
Uh-huh.
And
what do the guys swap in?
Well, they swap in the newer stuff.
Okay.
Newer stuff, or they get them getting them restitched and everything.
Right.
Usually, and this one, like I said, this one's really good, especially for being But like how, like over on the dash, on how that dash is, they bubble up real bad. They just the stick. This is actually real. I was really surprised.
It's probably a garage. Like I said, the only thing I didn't check was the mileage. But it's probably a garage kept low mileage car.
You can. It has. Oh my God, Ray.
What?
It has 42,000.
Oh, it's on the sticker?
No.
Oh, you can see it on the dash. Oh wow, you blew it up far enough. Look at that. Oh geez.
Yeah.
Looks like 404,000.
Yeah, 404,000.
Well, it's got.
I got it.
It's got the 2040.
I never thought.
I didn't even, when we talked, I didn't even think, and I was like, well, he's got a picture of the dash. Let me blow it up.
Yeah. 40,000.
Actually, that's probably. That can't be 426. It must have been 42.
Yeah.
Should be a zero. Oh, there's no zero in front of that though.
What year is that car? 86?
82.
82.
It had the ugly steering wheel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
But I like the dash. I like the dash layout.
Yeah.
The gauges are nice.
Yeah, they have a nice dash layout.
But
He's got interior looks all nice up until you get to that automatic.
So he's got the 97 wheels on it.
That's a plus.
Yeah, the newer wheels.
maybe the reason it has an automatic is because he likes to cruise and not have to bother to shift.
Yeah, bullshit. I'm not buying that one. That's why I like to cruise. I like shifting.
I gotta look because it's got the side marker light on it. It might be a Euro car.
Ah, okay. Well, I tell you what, the guy who runs this event, I met him. Me and Kevin are sitting in front of my car, and this guy comes walking over, big, loud, and boisterous. He goes, "Hey, who's the guy from this Motormouth radio show? Drives a gold GTO. I'm supposed to meet." And I'm like, "It's me. It's either me or him. All right, it's me." He goes, "Oh, good." So we were talking, and the next day he sends me a text. He wants me to do some remotes that I'm not going to do, and I said to him, "Hey, Sonny, by the way," I said, "how long does this cruise night go on? Because some of them have already stopped." And he said, "Until it snows or gets too cold for anybody to show up. We don't have an end date." I was like, "Nice." I said, "I would be there in like 38-degree weather."
I think it is a Euro car because it has the rear fog light in the back.
Oh, okay. Well, if he's there again, I'll talk to the guy.
Hey guys, I got to jump ship.
All right, Lewis, make sure you got a life preserver.
Yeah, man. You guys have a safe week, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Take care, Lewis. Be safe.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll see if I can talk to the guy. I didn't see him around the car the other night, but he's probably looking at all the American stuff. So, whatever.
Yeah, I'd be curious if the guy had because I think because it has see how they put on the side marker lights?
Yeah.
And I think those were done at port to make them U.S. legal.
Oh, really?
Because it doesn't have the bumperettes on the front on the bumper.
Right.
He probably took them off and chucked them. If it's a Euro, I mean, I don't know. I think you had the VIN number in here, didn't you?
Well, I do. It's either that or you're just gonna take a drive up here and talk to the guy.
Yeah, you never know, Ray. You better be careful.
I'm like, you know what? I gotta take a drive down to see Brian. It's only 4 hours. So,
That's how long it takes us to get to Interstate 5.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Actually, 3 hours in the car and 4 to 5 hours with the box truck.
Yeah.
Some nice twisty roads.
And this was Ray's new friend.
Five's pizza.
We're still alive. Never mind.
Five's PCH, right, Papa?
Yeah. Do what now?
I said I-5 is PCH. Is that right?
PC
No,
Pacific
5
Coast
is the
Highway.
big northwest, the north-south corridor.
Yeah.
That was one of
It
the
runs
original.
from San Diego, or no. Yeah, I think it runs all the way down to San Diego, up
Doesn't
to
it-
Washington
does it-
State.
Does it change designation or change name at one point?
Let's see. I don't think so. How
Or
far
was
have we
another
done
road
I-5?
that merged in with it? I remember seeing a video about that. I don't know.
Oh, it's probably eaten up a couple of other roads, but
Yeah.
We've been up into Washington on it, and we've been down to San Diego on it.
and it stayed I-5 the whole way.
Pretty much, yeah. We went around a
Right.
few things. It became 205 and 505. And
Well, yeah, because you don't like traffic.
Yeah, I think San Diego to LA area. At least that's where I've been on it. I think that's PCH.
Probably is. I have no idea.
Ray, how close is your rear tires rubbing close on? Do they rub on the frame?
Only if I have my friend's son in the back seat, who's kind of a big kid. And that's good that you picked that out. They're close, but
That's
they
close.
don't rub normally. And the rear is offset a little, so the left side is a little closer than the right side. But I can get my
Yeah.
finger in there.
I mean, that's close.
Man, what did you take, an autopsy picture? It's like
What is-
I couldn't even reference what you were looking at there.
Oh, well, here, I'll show you. This is the picture you sent me.
Oh, that's from okay.
And then, so then,
He
come
zoomed in
up,
and enhanced it.
Right.
and then, but I was just looking here because that's the tire. This is the tire, and then that's the part of the frame, and there's there's no light through there.
It is close, and well, I mean, I was at an angle too. It wasn't straight on.
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you the God's honest truth. Those tires are M&H Race Masters. And after I put the car through the body shop for paint, I had it up on the shop at the lift, and I saw like some thread coming through one of the tires. I was like, oh shit, I need 2 new tires. So there's only 2 brands of tires sold in that size, and it's the M&H, and then it's the ones I bought, which are Nitto.
Yeah.
And when
this is on the
those
this
are
is on the passenger side, and like I said, there is a little bit of a gap.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's less room on the passenger side than on the driver's side. I'm sorry, no, less room on the driver's side. So I put the Nittos on, and that's when I saw it was even closer. And I had to do a little grinding and a little clearance. And then only when I had my friend's son in the back did I have a rub. But it's funny because my brother, he also on his 55 Nomad, I'm sorry, his 57. The 55 has big wheel wells and they're arched. The 57, they're enclosed and they're not as wide. He put this I think the same size or similar size Nittos on his car and had the same issue. The Nittos are just a little bit fatter. The sidewall is a little bit more pronounced than the M&H's. So next time I'm either going to have to drop down a size or massage the inner wheel wells a little more, or go back to the M&H's. I don't know. Plus the car is lowered now, so I don't have the clearance. I don't have the height. So, but I think I'm going to pull out. I was looking in the garage today. I have my light out, and I could see up on top of the wall of the garage. I saw all my distributors dropped into the cinder block holes. And then right past that, I saw my ladder bars. So I'm going to have to climb up there with a ladder and unearth those babies. I think that's.
I know. I sent you a picture, but I got a new toy over the weekend, and it was the Makita bandsaw for
Oh,
metal
right.
cutting.
Very nice. Yeah.
And man, I have cut all kinds of shit up.
You know, when I was putting the toe tabs on, I have a some shielding that goes under the bumper on my car, and then there's some really heavy, like tar-like paper. It was I had taken that stuff off of a 65 GTO. It was on the car. It was on the AC cars, and they closed off the bottom of the bumper to kind of keep all the air going through the radiator. And there's a sheet metal lip, a 90, and I had to relieve a couple inches on each side for the toe tabs. So first I used my whiz wheel. I couldn't get in deep enough, so I came in the house and I got my Milwaukee hacksaw. And man, that thing just cut it like butter. I was like, oh, what a joy.
Yeah, I was really surprised because when you're holding this, you're kind of holding at
it's at a weird angle, right?
It's like, and I had a problem. Here, I'll put it back up because it's at a little bit at an angle when you're holding it.
Right.
And so I kept wanting to straighten my arm out. Straighten my wrist out, which then would turn the blade. Right. And once I got that out of my head about just running along, man, but it made it really, I was really surprised how easy, even if you cut it crooked, it was easy to trim up. You could just take the smallest bit off. It was really, I was really impressed.
Nice.
They look up it's Swag. They make a table that you can mount that thing to.
Oh, cool.
Really, I was wondering. I was like, man, I want
because that's what I
like taking a.
Because I wanted a metal bandsaw, and I was looking. I go, I'm like, get a huge one that stands up, and I'm like, Then I saw someone that had a portable one like that, and then with a little table.
I got a half metal bandsaw. I got a bandsaw when Sears went out of business. Yeah. I bought it for like $100.
Nice.
And I love it, and it sits on top of my toolbox.
So I got the little table and it works fine. Just the throat isn't that big because it's a hand band.
Yeah, well, they make on this one. There's two different ones. This is the M12 version, but if you get the M18 has a wider mouth.
Right.
And I like I said, I haven't. Let me just put it this way: I haven't found anything that I couldn't cut. I'm ready to cut a roof off a car now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
buying a '55 Chevy.
Yeah, I tell you, man. So, but I had gotten the tank in, the Audi.
And how do you mount it? Just with two straps?
Actually the straps aren't on it because I made a brace down here in the bottom, in the front, and then I put the straps and so forth. But I made, I had some 1-inch steel tubing and made a bottom out of it and put that in and so forth. Actually, I figured like if all goes well, I'll eventually take and get the 45 like that to put on the tank.
Right.
And then I'll just cut this is the original gas tank, and then cut the filler tube off.
Yeah.
So how big is that new tank you put in?
15.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's probably about the same size or bigger than what was it?
It's like the same size.
Yeah.
The only difference, the Audi one went sideways in the car.
Right, and you still had shrunk
the other night and didn't fill it.
It went in between the shock towers in the back.
Oh, that's the original gas tank went in that same spot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you didn't lose any room.
No, you can see how much of the trunk space.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only lost. Actually, the only thing that I took out there was it wasn't a hard one. It was like a what's that? Not press wood, but press cardboard or whatever. It had a wall that went in between.
Oh, a false wall, just to
yeah, and then
would
it
do
had a
nothing.
rubber mat that went in there that because you couldn't see the gas tank beforehand.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That doesn't seem too safe, actually. I mean,
What?
I guess right behind the back seat, right?
Oh yeah. Well, it's like the old pickup truck, right?
Old pickup trucks too. Yeah.
Right.
So
Get hit, get
and
gas sprayed on you.
I sent Ray the other thing, but it's that season, boys. Pumpkin spice.
Oh, please stop.
Krispy Kreme.
No, I think one of the weirdest tanks is the early Mustangs, where it's the trunk floor.
Yeah, that's the way mine is. Yeah.
And why would they ever do that? I mean, that's crazy. Using a tank as a crumple zone.
Yeah.
At
least it didn't blow up like the Pentos.
Yeah,
true.
But yeah, that's like I said. I mean, my tank's out of mine, and it's just this big hole sitting back there. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah,
it's the whole floor of
it's crazy.
Of the car.
They stopped that in what, 69?
69. 68 probably. I think 69. I don't think it was the part of the floor.
All right.
I'm not sure. Because if they did it in 69, they most likely did it in 70 because those cars are.
Well, yeah.
It's the 2 years. 65, 66, and then 67, 68.
Yeah, couldn't see them going backwards.
Yeah, and if that changed, it would have changed like in 71.
Right.
If that changed, then I'm not too sure. I would have to look.
Yeah.
I don't know when they put the strap, strapped it underneath. But yeah, I don't know. But hopefully, I don't know, I don't know what I did with it. I dug out my the other idle valve.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully can't seem to. And it's weird because, like I said, it was funny. I was telling Ray, but when I got the tank all in and filled it up, I went to start the car, and the car wouldn't start. And I had it running off of a gas can, and it, like I said, it ran for hours on the gas can. And I was like, damn, what did I do wrong with putting this tank in? And then I remembered at the same time I'd put a battery in the car. And the main harness that sent the power to the ECU or the computer, it felt it was tightened down, but it wiggled on the post. So I tightened that down, and the car started right up. And luckily, I didn't start. Normally, you get panicky and start tearing all kinds of shit. And I said, let me just whatever I touched, because it was running before.
What was the last thing you touched?
Last thing you touch is where you want to start.
Yep.
And but I had taken the idle valve, the idle valve off and cleaned it because it's supposed to move freely, and it was working kind of okay. But like I said, I can't really. It doesn't want to idle too good, so I'm hoping that's what it was. Unless some shit. I had flakes. This was after cleaning the tank several times. I was still getting that kind of shit out of the tank.
Oh man,
nice.
You didn't seal your tank up?
I can't seal that tank up. The original one.
You can't pour. There's a
no.
Oh
the
hell!
Bottom, on the German car, I gotta be really careful with German cars because there's the pre-filter inside of it is a screen, and it's a sump tank in the bottom, and if you pour that stuff in there, it will cover that screen, and it won't work.
Okay.
And I'm still thinking. I don't know. I'm crazy enough, or I'm thinking about going ahead and cutting that tank open.
New bandsaw, cut it open.
Yeah, well, I got that bandsaw, but I'm thinking about cutting that tank in half, or cut a big enough section. I'll probably cut it in half, and put it in my blasting tank, clean it out, and then weld it back together. Sure. I don't know.
Well, you got that new saw, Homer Simpson.
Yeah, I know. Well, like I said, I'm
sorry.
Part of me says I don't even have time to do anything else that I'm supposed to be doing. I can only imagine cutting that thing all apart and then effing around with that for about 2.5 weeks.
I watched on Vice Grip Garage. He took some marbles and some kind of solution, I don't remember, and he just rattled it all around. You can try it out.
I had put in, there's some type of acid, not hydrochloric acid, or
muriatic acid.
Muriatic. Yeah, that's it. Say that again, Ray.
Muriatic acid.
Yeah, I dumped that in there, and I dumped a handful of nuts and bolts.
Yeah, okay.
And I rolled that thing around there. The dogs thought that I was crazy, dude.
Ryan, this is the
yeah, that's it. That's the book.
This is the manual, man.
Yep. I got that on microfiche, and back over here in the corner, I got that book.
5,000.
Yep.
But this is the kind of the best part. It's still got my brother's handwritten notes.
Yeah.
From the tech school.
From the class, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, here we go. 84 Audi.
Yep.
It's like all the stuff is in here.
And I don't remember when I was in high school. My friend had an Audi. I don't remember if it was there 4,000. I don't know.
That's what
4,000 or 5,000.
It's got all the diagrams. There's your start valve right there.
Yep.
In fact, he even made a note on it, like how it opened, how the spring pressure actuated.
But he used to beat the heck out of it. And then one day I'm driving. I was driving down Smithtown, and I see his car off the side of the road, and I go over there. I'm like, "Hey, what happened?" CV joint just blew up. His ball bearings and everything all over the place.
And this is half of a service manual. It's got all the dashboard.
Yep.
Call out and the specialty tools.
Yep.
It's like, I guess they were giving him pages out of the service manual.
Well, that's the problem with the German stuff, because when you went to class and they gave you that stuff, and then when the tech stuff came, half the tech stuff didn't have the other. You had to combine the two because they only printed stuff one time. They wouldn't double print stuff, or it wouldn't be in another book, and that was the problem. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
CIS electronic fuel injection. It's
Brian's going to pull up a piece of the fuel injectors.
He's going to pull out a microfiche machine.
Machine.
God, does anybody even know what that is anymore?
I do.
My kids don't.
Well,
see, this is like the sunroof book.
Yeah. Everything was brown and yellow with them.
Yeah.
I have some books. Here that some of those too. The brown and yellow. I don't know what was with their color scheme.
But like I said, everything. I mean, this was all.
Yeah, you want to know about cruise control?
Yep.
There you go.
This is all broken down. Right. And they showed, and then, like I said, when you got your when you got the service books, some of the stuff would say reference back to this book. And if you didn't go to school, if you didn't go to the class, you didn't have the book.
Yeah, it's a sunroof.
Yep.
So yeah,
was that for the 5,000?
It just says no Audi. Let's see. 5000S turbo and wagon. And it says an update procedure. Yeah, so this was updated.
Yeah, because I was getting ready to say, I was seeing if they had, but But then, we had this is what drove everybody crazy because I have more. I don't have that many Audi ones, but you get these guys talking to you, and they'd be like trying to remember all the specs, and we had these little pocket books. I mean, books.
Cool. Yeah.
And this had all the specs and codes and
that's all you need.
Serial. Actually,
It's the cheat sheet.
that was a 82. Here we go. 82,928. Here we go. So I can go through and actually with a serial number, this should have the VIN number on. They should have the VIN plate number on it.
Yep, you got the VIN.
But this had all the specs. I mean, this is, and they would get mad because they were like, "Don't you remember this stuff?" I said, "I mean, how can I remember all these models, dude?" So you just the car that you're working on, you go and get your, if you're working on a 75 911, you go get your 75 911 book.
Yeah, you just have to remember where the books are.
Yeah, well,
I trust a mechanic who goes and looks stuff up.
I mean,
a lot
this
better.
is just one pile. This is
Yeah. Then I trust a mechanic who knows all the parts. Because my wife used to be married to one, and he'd rattle all this off, and then you go dig it up and go, "Wait a minute, Yeah. And I can't do it because my memory is just horribly good.
But later on they called them fax books.
Oh, fact.
Yeah.
We need some of those now. Fact books.
So this is, like I said, this was the last year. Was 2002 was my last year, and that was the book.
That was the last year when you were turning wrenches?
Last year when I was at
20-some years?
Yeah, that was my last year, and then I started with the and then these books were these were the gray band were salesman books. And this had all the like they basically had what the options were, what colors. What came, what your gear. They did break it down to like what your gear ratios were and shift points and stuff like that. But these were, I don't have that many of them, but these were for sales.
Those are cool. Yeah,
your 0 to 60 times.
Yeah, all the stuff to make,
stuff to cover what a customer would ask, whether it's a
right.
customer.
But then these books were for the technicians, and this had all your timing marks, valve specs, adjustments, capacities, tire spec, everything. This was everything.
Yeah, salespeople need those books now. You go in there, they don't know anything about the cars.
Yeah.
This one's blue.
Yeah.
Got a V6 in it. Like,
what's the weight capacity?
they have no idea. They don't know anything about them.
Did you, Ray, do you have your brother's passport?
I do remember seeing one of them somewhere. Yeah.
Because that had all his training stuff in it.
I think that's out. I think that's in the toolbox in the garage.
Yeah. Because this was, I had, this was early on, and it was Volkswagen Audi, but I did my Porsche training, and this is early. Mm-hmm. And then Porsche did their own red book. And then this was the Audi one.
Yeah.
So your brother should be like this one. It should look something very similar to this.
Okay.
This was early on.
Yeah. Maybe outside. I'll have to take a look.
It might not have the Volkswagen emblem on it. Yep, those were the good old days.
Yeah, man. I know I got some of those brown and yellow those Audi books around here somewhere. They're probably buried in the bottom because I haven't looked at them in years.
Yeah.
Like the Hayes manuals or something but with yellow and brown too, weren't they?
A lot of times they had a brown cover, yeah.
Yeah, it's like so Bland colors, boring.
Yeah, brown and yellow, and I think black and yellow for the Haynes. Haynes.
I
Whatever.
guess they just wasn't supposed to show the dirt or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were.
Well, with those brown manuals, I just blended in, and then you couldn't see my hand.
Nice.
Oh man.
See, then you got to dress the part, Brian. You gotta. Where the hell's the
Like this work.
You got to wear your.
Yeah, I only have one or two T-shirts, and they don't fit me anymore.
Made this in red and in blue.
Yeah.
What happened? You shrunk?
Yeah.
I didn't shrink. I kind of grew.
The shirt shrunk.
Right. All my clothes shrunk. The new washer did it.
Yeah. Too much hot water.
With those tasty burgers you posted on Instagram, I can see.
Who?
You.
Oh yeah, for Jimmy Buffett, I had my land shark and cheeseburger in paradise.
They look good. Made me hungry.
Yeah, the other night after the cruise, there's a McDonald's across the parking lot, and I was gonna go over there for dinner. Now it's like 8:30, and my buddy Kevin says, "Hey, we got a place by us called All American Burger, and it's just a hamburger stand that's been there since the '60s, and it's the same. It's just like a regular McDonald's hamburger, nothing crazy, but they make hot dogs and quarter pounders. They do fish, and the fries are great." So he goes, "Hey, how about we go to All American?" I said, "I was thinking the same thing. We getting a parking spot may be tough, but I did." And it's always so funny when you're sitting there and people are coming in and out and they're commenting on your car and they don't know that it's yours, and you're listening to them, like see how wrong these people can be about what they're saying. But I tell you, man, I got a thick shake. I couldn't get a pull of that shake. It took 45 minutes before I could actually get some of it in my mouth. That's how thick it was. I was like, man, that's good stuff. It's like, cement.
If you're looking at the GTO in '65, they had those yellow bars in the front. They came factory, and they were factory only, and they kept the car down on the ground. So when you hit the gas, it doesn't pop a wheelie, but it's the ones on the front.
It's kind of funny because the guy,
those kind of comments.
When I asked the guy, like when he's shutting the thing down, he says, "No, not till it snows or gets cold." So I copied the text and sent it to my friend Kevin, and he says, "Oh, cool." He goes, "So," he says, "when it snows," he goes, "we're gonna, we'll need a snow plow." I'm like, "No problem." I said, "Look, I'll just mount one to my toe tabs." I said, "I'll put a plow right on the front. I'm good to go, man." So, plow your way into the cruise night.
Yeah. Well, you get people that get excited and they don't know a whole lot, but they're trying their best. And then you get the ones that are know-it-all that don't know nothing, but they're a complete donkey. I see the child in the thing, so I'll leave it to donkey. They're a complete donkey, and
you can't hear.
Oh, okay. They're a complete ass.
You get the typical comments like, "Wow, man, what year is that car? Is that 60? Is that 69 or something?" Like, "No, it's a 65. "Yeah, man, I had one just like it." I'm like, "You did? And you don't know what year it was?"
Yeah.
I get that. That's probably the most common comment. "Yeah, I had one of them. What year is that?" Like, okay.
There was a guy at the Cars and Coffees, probably, I want to say 2 months ago. It was around that same time when I took that picture of that white Stingray Vet.
Yeah.
That's early 60s. And this guy, I noticed we crossed paths a couple times. He never said anything to me, but I just got this feeling. I'm like, something's up with this guy. He's one of those constant liars, or just something's not right with this guy. So every time as I'd end up where he was, I'd kind of start paying more attention and listening. And he'd be like, "Oh, I had one of these back in the day and this, that, and the other." and then he'd start spouting nonsense, and then they'd be like, no, that didn't come in that year. Oh, well, maybe mine somebody put something aftermarket, I don't know. And then at one point, one guy, most of the guys just shined him on, and towards the end there, the guy goes, well, wait a minute, I want to know more. And he goes, well, I gotta go. And he starts wandering off, and he goes, no, I want to know. I want to talk to you. You said you have one. No, come here. And he's hightailing it to the next, another road down to look at cars. And the guy wouldn't let off. And I'm like, ooh, I want to watch this. And I'm like, and of course, the guy that was running around telling stories about every car that was out there, he was running off, and the other guy was chasing him. I'm like, hey, I wonder if he's from New York, because he got a burr under his saddle, and he's not gonna let this guy. He caught him lying, and he wants to really hammer it home. And I'm like, I love it.
See, usually when that happens, and you catch a guy in just, it's either the bold-faced lie or the guy really just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I go the other way. I just back off. It's like, okay, all right, guy, all right, okay. It's like, the Chrysler with the 454 in it. Yeah, right. Okay, they get something like that wrong. Like, they'll always have the wrong engine size. Like, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I love listening to them because it's an education in itself.
Well, Pop Squirrel, I'll tell you, the God's honest truth is sometimes, and I understand this, that a guy might have had that car so long ago, he just forgot. Like, he's not in it anymore. So he just kind of forgot those little details. And now, so many years later, he's coming back into a hobby that he used to be part of. And he's just not current, but he was at one point, So I give a guy a break for that too. Like, maybe you did know what you were talking about at one point, and now you don't. So that's why instead of challenging him, I just kind of take the high road and say, all right, that's it.
Yeah, I just listen.
See, but the more that they do it, the more there's a point where I have to finally say, all right, hold on a minute, stop. Now I got to correct you on this, because everything you said has been wrong. I mean, there's a limit, but I give them a lot of rope. Hang yourself.
I feel the same way. I kind of get a kick out of listening, and again, sometimes it's somebody that's new into the hobby, or and they've picked out a few things out of a magazine, and they're just testing some of their knowledge. No harm. They're trying to fit in. There was a point out of high school, I was that guy. And I'm like, hey, I remember those days. And, no harm, no foul. And the guy's not trying to be a jerk. But the guy, like I said, the guy running around to every car. I used to have one of those, and I used to have
every car.
Like, yeah. And then he's just spouting a bunch of bull. That guy, he's being, and in the way he was doing it, he was being an a-hole. And again, I just started listening, but I became very aware of him, and I was like, there's something shady with this guy.
There was another guy there, and I guess he was in his 50s, and he had a 1970 Challenger convertible. I posted a picture of it. It was a white car with a black top. I had a 71. It's the only 2 years that they made the convertible. So I gravitated over to him, and I asked him, hey, how long have you had this car? He had it a while, and he said his father did a lot of the mechanical work on it for him. And it was set up just like mine. It was a 318 two-barrel 904 tranny. It was the base engine. Well, it wasn't the slant six. So, and we got to talking, and it was a little rough, but I kind of like him that way, and it had some stuff done to it. So we got to talking, and I said, yeah, it's kind of funny. That's the one car I had that had a two-bladed radiator fan, just an X with a 2-core radiator, no shroud, and that car could run all day in the desert heat and never overheat. Yeah, look at that. Chinese throwing star. Why you have that there, I will never know.
Because it was just leaned up against him between my toolbox.
Good one. Touche. So now the guy goes on to tell me, I thought he was going to back me up. And he's like, that's the problem with my car. He goes, it runs hot. And I don't know why. I was like, well, it's a 318 or a 904. Like, and what he did is he put a 4-row aluminum radiator in it, a new water pump, and like a 7-blade plastic flex fan. I said, dude, you should be running more than cool, and he changed the thermostat and all of this, or his dad did. So a little later on, I went over there and I was, what the hell happened here? I'm looking at the car. I didn't take a picture of it. I should have. But his, the upper hose, right where it come out of the thermostat housing, comes up, made a 90 degree, and it was flat right there, flattened. It was more oval where the rest of it was round. And I said, I think I found your problem. I said, I think you have a collapsed upper hose. And under suction, it's closing off. And it's not letting the fluid flow. And he's like, what do you mean? So I showed it to him. I said, come here, look at my car. My car was still warm. So the hose was fully, I said, squeeze that hose. It's you can't squeeze it. It's under pressure. I said, that's the way it should be because it's flowing, it's holding fluid. Yours, I think, is collapsing under suction. And so I started looking at the car some more, and I look at the data plate. He was telling me that the car was white, but the interior had been originally all red, and somebody had changed. They put in white seats and white half door panels and a black carpet, so it looked a lot better. And I said, did you ever decode your data plate? Data plate is sitting right on the fender on a Chrysler. That's the whole birth certificate of the car. So he's like, no, I never did that. I said, well, I got some books at home. Would you like me to do it for you? So he says, oh, sure, if you can. So this is what amazed me. The guy's had the car and he didn't do it. Not only I did it by the book on a piece of paper, and then I found a site that let me put the numbers in and produce this. Print out this paper that looks like, it's like it even went over on the back. And I sent it to him. Yeah, and I sent it to him. I said, he's like, man, you did that fast. I'm like, it was that. I said, all you had to do was Google 1970 Challenger data plate decode. And that was the first link that came up. And I just clicked on it and literally just input all of those alphanumeric codes. So it amazes me that a guy can have a car for so long and kind of be into it, but not go that next step into wanting to find things out that he wants to know. Just, I don't know.
Boggles your mind.
It does. It does boggle my mind. It actually does. It really does. But
I mean, come on, Ray. You don't have a 944 flywheel sitting next to you, too?
No, I don't.
I mean,
that I don't.
I mean, these are just everyday normal things in the garage, right?
I know. Yeah, well, that's true.
You probably have. I mean, I got a CV joint for my Audi.
That's good.
Nice.
I mean, these are just things that we need that you never know. Laying around in the garage floor.
So he got back to me again. He emailed me. Oh, that's right. I gotta take some more. I've been handing out business cards like crazy. I gotta take some more to reload. Where the hell do I have my stash? I got a stash here somewhere. I think these are them. So he sends me another email, and he was thanking me. So he was all happy and proud of himself. He found a hose. He sends me a picture of one of those corrugated accordion hoses, and it was like $41. And I told him, I said, Lou, I hope you didn't buy that, and if you did, return it. So I went to Rock Auto and I found a molded hose for $5 and sent them the link. I said, please put a molded hose on the car. I said, that's the hose you put on if it doesn't exist or you're doing a swap or something.
Or if you're sitting in the middle of Kalamazoo someplace out in the desert or something,
all you can get, right.
Yeah, but
right.
Mojave's a good desert to sit in for that.
Yeah. So we'll see what he did with that. I'm curious. I want to see if he's going to show up again on Monday night with a new and improved car.
I had to change the radiator for my father-in-law yesterday on his Toyota.
You do a lot of radiator changing, don't you?
Not intentionally. Yeah, he called and I guess wanted me to take a look at it. It was overheating. My wife talked to him and said, "Hey, you know, coach is having a rough weekend with coaching and stuff. He's trying to decompress." And he said, "Well, let him know if he wants to look. I'll pay him for it." And so I think it was Sunday evening, he called and he said he went to go. He popped the hood and looked at it and saw signs of seepage, so he was going to replace the upper radiator hose. And I said, "Yeah," I said, "it's been a rough week." I said, "I'll tell you what." I said, "Change that hose. That's you inspected, looking for any signs of leakage. Change that hose. If you have a problem, just let me know. I'll come help." And actually, that was Monday. So Tuesday, the bus didn't come and pick us up after our game. And while we're sitting there in the way up on the way up in Marana, waiting for our bus our bus that left us, and then our bus that was rerouted to us. Anyways, he called and he says, "Hey, I went to change it," and he goes, "The neck, it came off."
Oh no!
And I said, "On the radiator," and he says, "Yeah." And I said, that's what happens with those plastic radiators." I said, "But the good news is you found the problem." And he says, "Well, I got a radiator coming in. It'll be here in the morning. Would you help me?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll come help." So I got there and he had loosened up the fans. And when I was pulling up, he was leaving to go do something. And I waved as he went by. I got out, went over and looked at the car. He was back within 5-10 minutes. And by the time he got back, I already had the fans out, the wiring unhooked, and had the radiator almost out. And yeah, he was kind of shocked, but it was actually pretty simple.
Time too.
I thought I was doing it in regular time. He felt that it was record time, but but that's always a good thing to impress your father-in-law. So
yeah. Well, we'll keep coming back for more.
Yeah. No, I got it taken care of, and then we sat there for about probably an hour or two and just shot the shit. And so
that's good.
Yeah, I spent all weekend working on the Honda Odyssey, just throwing the parts cannon at it like crazy.
What were you trying to fix?
It was overheating, and it would overheat, and then AC wouldn't work, which that makes sense. So then I did rig up the fans. For some reason, the fans weren't coming on. I rigged the fans up, but then this is what happened with the AC. The engine would stay cool, but then the AC, when it's shooting out of the dashboard, would be cold only if you had the rear AC on. If you turn the rear off, it just blows out. The AC turned off and it was just blowing hot air. So I was like, what the heck? So I'm like, all right, thing has 170 something thousand miles on it, and AC runs all the time. So I'm like, well, you know what? I bought all the parts to replace the AC. Compressor, condenser, evaporator valves. What else? No, not evaporator, expansion valve. All that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get the and I was glad I did do it, because I was thinking, I'm like, well, the AC was kind of working. Maybe I didn't have to change the compressor, because that was like $300.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize you could do this. I took the condenser out, and it has a dryer like on the side. Yeah. It had a little Allen or something on it. So like, let me just take this. I had the new condenser. So I was putting the new condenser in.
Okay.
So I unscrewed the thing. There's like some filter in there and whatever. And the filter had like, the dryer. Yeah. It had like this much of black goop on the bottom.
Right.
It was like, oh, I go, bet you the compressor's going. That's the only place stuff could come from, right? It's a compressor. So like, all right, I don't feel bad spending all these hours replacing, because I had to pull the alternator out, then I had to pull the AC compressor out, and all this other stuff that was in the way. I put new fans in it, did all that stuff. Also, I did power steering pump was leaking like crazy, so while I was there, replaced that, replaced the idler pulley, all the stuff that was, might as well do it while I'm here. Fix it all. I unrig up my AC always on with the ignition, and set the car up. I have it in my shop. It's running good. I'm like, okay, everything seems fine. It was running for like 45 minutes. Didn't overheat. AC is working fine. Like, all right. So the next day, I'm like, let me go take it for a test drive. Take it for a test drive. We get it outside. Overheats. First off, I'm like, okay, what the hell? Like, all right, let me rejigger the wires so it turns on all the time. Like, all right, fix the overheating problem. Now the AC. If I keep the dash part on, I changed the expansion valve on only the front. There's an expansion valve in the back I didn't touch because that's a pain in the ass. I don't want to do it. So I left that one. So now I turn the AC on the dash. It blows cold. I go, okay, that's good. It's working. I turn turn it on high on the rear AC. It starts blowing warm. I was like, what? It's like the opposite problem. I was like, what the heck? So then, what's today? Thursday? Tuesday. I'm like, all right. And I ripped the whole, because you have to rip the whole interior panels off and the whole air box to get to the expansion valve. In the back, I get to the expansion valve. I look at the rear evaporator, and it's just clogged up with a whole bunch of stuff. I'm like, oh, that could be an issue.
Yeah.
So I ordered another evaporator. I'm going to try replacing that evaporator and that expansion valve and charge it up again and see what happens. It's still going to overheat. I didn't fix that problem, but I'm trying to fix the AC now.
Well, I mean,
it's like,
the fans should come on high with the AC. They should.
The AC should come on, yeah. And you can see them kick on when the AC comes on. They kick on,
right?
And then the AC cycles, it shuts off, and then both of them turn off. Which, if the engine temperature gets to a certain level, the one fan's supposed to come on, even maybe two. I don't know. I read the whole thing, the diagnostics of it, so I don't know what I got to do with it now. Fix that problem.
Wow.
That might just be take it to the dealer and just say, look, it's overheating. Let me hook it back up. So that was my whole weekend. Nice. I did nothing. Did all that work, and it still broke.
What year is it?
It's a 2014. It was a 3.6 liter or something like that in there. I was just like, I told my wife,
that's the issue. That's the issue. You're in Florida.
Yeah, I'm in Florida. That's the problem.
Climate. You got to move to a cooler climate.
Yeah.
Stop eating meat because that's to the warming of our climate. So if you stop eating meat, you'll be okay.
There's a movie and a TV show called Snowpiercer. I don't know if anybody's seen it.
I've heard.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Pop Squirrel's heart. They because global warming, the Earth was getting too warm. They came out with some chemical and they sprayed it all over the Earth, and it got way too cold, like below whatever.
That's what they're doing now.
70. Yeah, and everybody froze and died, and the only people that were alive were on this train. That's the whole movie.
Oh yeah, I saw a commercial for that.
Yeah, yeah, and then the TV show, but I can't find the TV show anywhere to watch.
But they're actually really doing that. They're
trying to warm or cool down.
Bill Gates. Bill Gates. He's in the middle of this, and they've created this dusting. I can't remember what they called it. I watched it the other night, and they're going to have these 747s. Airplanes mounted with these spray nozzles, and there's going to be like hundreds of them flying in they're going to go at a certain altitude and lay this coating. It's supposed to have I can't remember what they said, 75%. It's supposed to allow 75% of the sunlight in, 25% reflection. so that it will drop the temperature. Because they say it works. That's what happens with volcanoes. When a volcano and the ash is in the air, the temperature drops, 10 degrees or 15 degrees or whatever. So they formulate it with this reflective material, and they're going to add a layer to the ozone.
Yeah, it's
save us
supposed
all.
to be to block out the sun.
Don't worry, I let enough
that
R134 out. There should be a hole above my house.
All right, so that answers that question. You're not reclaiming it.
Oh wait, yes I am. Yes.
Good.
Yes, definitely reclaiming it.
I almost couldn't sleep tonight, Keith. I was going to let you know.
Hey, you know what? I'm actually been under the weather today. I got nauseous. I thought it was because I took my vitamins on an empty stomach. And
C19.
I now know I know it's now because Keith improperly released his R134. Andy eats meat. If he didn't eat meat, that zinc wouldn't have bothered me.
Yep.
Yeah. Tough crowd. And actually, it's kind of funny because last night or yesterday, or actually it was last week, I snapped the AC belt in the tool truck, and I'd gone a couple days without AC in the front. I had AC in the back. And after our little heat wave of 105 going on, I last night put the put the belts on the tool truck, so crawling around out there in the middle of the night.
Better than the middle of the afternoon.
It was a couple weeks ago when the box truck the AC in the back, the belt broke, and I was on my route and pulled off and did it on the route. And it was kind of funny. Everybody walking by, like seeing these 2 feet from underneath the truck. And I'm like, Brian, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm changing the belt. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
So, but the problem is the one for the box truck for the back is the first belt. So that's easy. But, of course, after that, the one for the cab is the very first belt. So you got to take everything off to get to that. And that's a pain in the butt.
Right. And it's a cab over?
Yeah, it's cab over.
So now we have like stuff like on a dash, you just lift it goes on the window?
Yeah. You have to be careful because you'll find a lot of them with cracks in them because stuff comes off the seat and hits the glass.
Everything into the defroster vents.
Yeah, everything, dude. It's a mess. So that's when you know it's time to clean the truck out because you just lift the cab, it all falls on the floor, then you can rake it out.
That's an easy way to do it.
Yeah.
Shake
Friend of mine doesn't believe in raking. He just believes in taking a hose.
Yeah.
Wash it all out.
It was actually, I don't know if it was from my wife's excursion, but she had one of those weather floor mats, weather guard.
Weather guard, yeah.
Yeah, and it was for the third row or, between the second row, I guess. So it was about that wide and that long. Well, it fits perfect in the front of the tool truck. So when she had gotten rid of that, she had asked if I wanted that. And that's what I that's what I have is that rubber weather guard mat. And so, like I said, it makes it real easy, Papa Squirrel, because when you tilt the cab over and everything falls on the floor, you just grab that mat and pull it out and it all hits the ground. Yeah. You shake it off and then you throw it back in the truck and you're good to go. That's self-cleaning on that end.
Yep.
Ooh. Oh, he reminded me. Also of Bill Gates. Apparently, another plan is to cut trees down, and then bury them, because that helps with the global warming too.
Oh, really? Cutting trees? Yeah.
Cut the trees out. Don't use the trees for anything. Just bury them.
Huh? I don't know. I know. In my area, if you remove a tree, you got to plant 2 trees back. So you got to be careful.
No, there's some forests. Just there's too much greenery, and too much heat coming from the trees. So you got to chop them down and get rid of them.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yep.
I'm glad. I feel safer, so it's okay.
Yeah, we'll all be freezing.
Those trees are what caused havoc during Roman times and Egyptian times and Grecian times.
So I don't know.
Yep.
Well, guys,
we've had enough.
Oh, you know what? Actually, you know what else I found today?
No.
You know, I'm completely excited because of my cyclone.
Yeah, that's
cool. Yeah, the one they spelled wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
see.
I'm excited about that. But then
where'd you find that
case? Huh?
That was in a case of cars?
That was in a case. That's in the newest case, the Q case. It's last year. It's the last case of the year. But with this car, that was one of them, and they brought back the Chevette.
Oh, sweet! That's
nice.
Cool.
So,
I gotta go.
You got the Mercedes. That's a good car. That's the first one, and the second one is silver.
Yeah, it reminded me of that Mercedes. What was it? The SL 500 Hammer.
Yeah,
or whatever they called it. And then I got this.
Some Jeep.
Oh yeah, the Jeep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I made a run to my storage unit. I kind of took a lot of my stuff out there. I had the guy that got me that Cyclone, a buddy of mine that found. Even the artwork is really good. I'm hoping I can find another one, but that's the the artwork on the card.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he was
There you go.
He was talking. He was talking about some older stuff that he was trying to find or wanted to see, and I had it in my storage unit. And I said, I normally don't do this, but I'll show you. And he was like, can I come by and look through your... I said, no, nobody's allowed back here. Nobody's allowed. So...
I still haven't found that one.
But...
Yes, I know.
But I was excited that I got all of the drag strip cars now. I finished the whole set.
That's cool.
Yep. So, but other than that, I didn't have. I mean, like I said, anything that I got new, I ended up taking it over to my storage unit. So I'm kind of empty over here. Can you believe that? Kind of.
It looks like it.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
But they have their. But actually, I got to make sure I stop by this weekend because they have their new mail-in. Let's see here. The new mail-in is a Mini Cooper. Get 20 cars, and they have their new Mini Cooper.
You keep it over there.
Nice.
Please.
That's the same color as the other one.
Yeah, well, this year they're all purple. These are all the mail-in cars are purple, and this has number 6 on it. That's the 6th one.
Is that a Dollar General again, or
no? This is Target.
Yeah, Target.
And then this comes
Put it
tomorrow.
there. I'm not going to touch it and we watch it fall.
I'm not buying from Target anymore.
Yeah, I know. I'm having a hard time.
Come on,
I don't want to talk about it. Okay.
You can check out the special swimsuits.
Yeah.
Well, when we actually, you know what happened? Oh, we're still alive. God,
but still, nobody's watching anymore.
So this one's coming tomorrow. This is the Custom 69 Mach 1.
Oh yeah.
and the hood comes off. I mean, the whole front end comes off of it. I don't know if it has.
That's cool.
All right. You know what? Just to appease Brian, we're going to end the stream now.
Yeah, we want to hear the good stuff.
Yeah, because I almost said something.
For Lewis Lee and Ray Guarino playing in traffic, we haven't signed off formally in a while. I don't know why we haven't done that. So we haven't done that. So
give it the 3-finger salute.
Right. Of course, for McNamara, Brian, Papa Squirrel, Keith, and Coach Isaac. We're all we'll be back in next week and do more of this. So now we're going to talk about some good stuff that you can't hear. So we're going to do that right now.
Still says live.
It ain't going to be live in a second. Come back next week. What the heck is it? No, we're going to get it from football plays.
Football plays. That's the spot.
That's this.
This part is over.